using health benefits for personal training? At one point, this was wishful thinking. Get sick, they said, and then you can use your flex benefits. Gain weight, lose muscle and strength, and come back when you have sarcopenia and osteoporosis was essentially the message. Ever wished that you could use your flex benefits toward your personal training and you ran into obstacles and red tape? Well, you're going to want to tune in because the world has changed in many ways in this last 2.5 years. This one is a welcome change, and it's just the beginning. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top struggles and concerns, but most of all, hope to inspire you by sharing what to eat, how to move, and how to change your mindset so you can have the energy and the vitality that you want, need, and deserve in this second and better half. So, as I said, this is all about using health benefits for personal training. And at one point, it was just wishful thinking. Now, we're not talking about using insurance. We're talking about your health benefits or your flex benefits and making that a reality. If you sat on the sidelines watching gyms close, exercise options dwindle for those who needed it most, then listen up. This interview episode unpacks the new MedFit Care program and explains how, if you've got a special condition requiring a more medical exercise specialist than the norm of past test become certified process, this is for you. Exercise has become essential. It took time. Over the course of the pandemic, we've seen it happen. While some claim gyms are germ-ridden, others have acknowledged that gyms and trainers, even more qualified medical exercise specialists and health coaches, are a must. Let's dive into this episode about using health benefits for personal training or health coaching. My guest today is Lisa Dougherty. She started her fitness career in 1999. She's worked for over 20 years with clients with medical conditions or chronic disease, amassing dozens of certifications, continuing education along the way. Inspired by her father's cancer battle, she created the MedFit Network to help connect those with medical conditions to fitness and health wellness professionals that could serve them. And then later, seeing a gap in specialized education for these professionals, she founded the MedFit Education Foundation to facilitate and to create high-quality education for all facets of medical fitness. She just recently launched MedFit Care. And that's really what we're diving into today, which will offer medically necessary exercise prescriptions for you and or for your loved ones. Can't wait to dive into this episode. This is going to be one you want to share, and I'm going to guess you're going to have a question or comment. Can't wait to hear what those are too. Lisa, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right. I am thrilled. Recently, we've done this and we've interviewed a couple other female leaders in fitness. And I get chills when I think about all of the fitness associations and industries that are actually led by women. There are more of them led by women than by men. So first of all, a huge thank you from me and from all of our listeners for stepping up and taking action. And you really did. I mean, you've been way ahead of your time. You have made really huge contributions to the fitness industry and to health. And they're kind of housed, if you'll let me house them in 3 unique projects. Would you describe those to our listeners?
Sure. The original whatever project was MedFit Network, founded in 2013, and that's a public registry of fitness and allied healthcare professionals that have furthered their education to work with women through all stages of their life, chronic disease, disabilities, mental health issues, chronic conditions and so forth. Second was the nonprofit MedFit Education Foundation, which produces weekly webinars, and honestly, they're for anybody. We have people, all different people listen to our webinars. We've done events, and now we're doing online education. And then most recently, and what brings me here today, is the launch of our new telehealth company, MedFit Care, where we will be issuing medically necessary exercise prescriptions.
Which is very, very exciting. But I do want to back up just for a second to a listener who may be thinking, okay, this is a lot of, is this for me? You may be wondering if you're supposed to be a fitness or health pro to be here listening, but you're not. The reason I have Lisa here talking to us, and by the way, we are going to do a unique Q&A for health and fitness pros. So there will be something special for you at She Means Fitness Business, at that podcast. But the reason this is so important and how you will benefit and be impacted by Lisa's work is the MedFit Network and MedFit Education Foundation, both, they make a difference in the quality of the education and the knowledge available to trainers and health coaches, as well as, there's all kinds of people, as you mentioned. I know there have been physicians who've sat in on some of that, but how is that different? Because I think a listener may not know how a trainer gets continuing education credits and gets recertified.
Sure. Well, unfortunately, to the fitness industry, there's no barrier to entry. Anybody can call themselves a personal trainer. They could hang up a sign on a window, have some muscles, excuse me, and call themselves a personal trainer. And then there's, people like me that went to UC Irvine and went on for 3 years to take a bunch of specialist courses, and we could be in the same place. So it really puts a burden on the consumer to kind of find out what someone's credentials are and if they have any education or if they just like to work out and they opened a gym. So what's really special about the MedFit Network is those that are on this public registry, we verify their education, what their college degree might be, what their nationally recognized certification is, and that they have to carry professional liability insurance. That's another thing that you may not know about personal trainers. I know plenty of them that don't even carry insurance. Well, they can't because they don't have the proper education to even obtain insurance. So this public registry was really important to me. And it was inspired by my father, who was battling cancer in Florida, and I'm in California. And I remember just trying to find him help in his area. This was, 15 years ago, and it was so hard to find out someone's credentials. Did they know about cancer? Who were they? And so I saw that there was just a challenge for the consumer. So we're kind of an Angie's List, if you will, of, people that are qualified, educated, and insured. And with the foundation that you mentioned as well, we create continued education in all this space, which, there's not a lot of relevant continued education to work with, I'll even say women in general, since this audience is women. And that's something we really pride ourselves, is that people on this network do relevant continued education to remain a specialist in whatever area that they're in.
I love that. And by the way, we've had you on before. You're a favorite, by the way, but we've had you on the Fitness Professionals podcast. And just, although that's an anomaly for you, Flipping 50 listeners, I am going to link to it because Lisa did considerable education about, we talked about the fact that someone may call themselves a cancer specialist, but again, they can call themselves anything, and it doesn't mean they've taken continuing education credits year by year to get better, to really learn and get more knowledgeable about what to or what to not do. And that again is something not screened by the industry. That's where you stepped up.
Didn't do relevant continued education. Your oncologist, they just did an oncology class in 1973, and they never did any relevant continued education. And that's one thing that the fitness industry lacks. You have to do continued education, but you don't have to do it on what you learned. I think that's wrong.
Right.
So to be on the MedFit Network, you got to do relevant continued education, or you can't be a specialist anymore.
True. And just to go down that rabbit hole a little bit, I'm certified by some prestigious agencies, I would say, and I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus with a name specifically, but even in recording my CECs to keep track of the courses or what I've done, I can record, there's a lot of latitude there. There's a lot of latitude saying I read a certain book, or I did a certain article, or I contributed, and nobody's checking on me.
Nope.
Yeah. So there are people potentially who may take advantage of that. I just think we should say that. Okay, so let's get to the real nitty gritty, because this third little child of yours, this MedFit Care, this is big news. I mean, Lisa, I have chills about this because I think we've all dreamed of this day.
Yeah.
Tell us what it is.
Yeah. So, for at least 3 decades, the fitness industry has wanted to be part of the healthcare team, the healthcare continuum. And, with COVID, the fitness industry really got crushed. We weren't looked at as essential. It's funny, restaurants and bars were essential, but the gyms and the fitness industry, wasn't. And again, I think it's just lack of education, lack of respect that our industry has, and so forth. So MedFit Care is an extension of this project because, in order to issue medically necessary exercise prescriptions, which is what we're going to do, the trainer has to have the right education and insurance and so forth. So what can you do with a medically necessary exercise prescription? You and I were discussing this before our podcast today. Is you could use FSA or HSA dollars to pay for personal training. Right now, they usually cover a gym membership without any question, but they're not going to cover you hiring a personal trainer. But if it's medically necessary, prenatal, postpartum, menopause, any women's health issues, HSA is health savings account. It's pre-tax dollars. FSA is flexible spending account. Usually your employer matches that money, and if you don't use it, you lose it. So you'll be able to turn in these exercise prescriptions to help offset cost of a personal trainer, and you will be able to write off personal training on your income tax as a medical expense. And to me, that is very exciting. Most of us don't accumulate enough medical, dental, whatever, optical expenses to write them off. It has to be 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. But if you throw in the thousands of dollars you spend on a personal trainer, along with your eyeglasses and all your deductible stuff, you probably will reach that threshold and break it, and then be able to write everything off. And so to me, that is really exciting. And the fitness industry has wanted this for the last few decades. And now through MedFit Care, we can offer this.
And again, I can't congratulate you enough. So you're so very humble and nonchalant in relaying this, but it is a big thing. So if you're listening, I know some of you are excited. And I also want to back up, because I remembered thinking this, as you said, the kinds of courses that are there for continuing education, like working through all kinds of women's health. Those of you who are listening who have spouses who are also dealing with a chronic condition, it's not only women, it's women's health course tends to be a course we offer. But for someone with Parkinson's or fibromyalgia, you want to explore that too for your other family members.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a listener maybe who is wanting to use their health benefits for personal training or learn if they qualify and find a qualified health and fitness professional. What does she do?
They would visit the medfitnetwork.org, and you'll see a search, and you could put in your zip code and see who's in your area. Now, there's some people that still want to work virtually with someone. So it will give you virtual choices if that's your preference, or if you want, in person with someone. Reach out to them. You'll see their public profile page. You'll see the services, programs they offer, their bio, their education. which is super important that they have insurance. And then they can reach out and contact that person and get started. And, if they hire that person could introduce them to MedFit Care so they can get a telehealth appointment with one of our doctors and get a medically necessary exercise prescription, like I said, to offset personal training and to write it off on your taxes.
Fantastic. And you and I were talking a little bit about this behind the scenes. So we are talking to an army, I think, and that is you all listening. You are a part of demanding this high credential, this level and standard of delivery of services. And if you demand it, this is what you want and need for someone to actually be qualified, you'll begin to see it. It's like your money speaks volumes.
Yes, indeed.
Is it ready? I mean, could somebody get started today?
Yeah, absolutely. See if there's someone available in your zip code. If there's not someone to your liking, what's great about MedFit Network is we offer a free service to find someone in your zip code. If you want a certain gender or nationality, or you speak a language, we have different outreaches through our partners to find someone in your area to help you if you don't find them on our directory. And we would screen them first. If they weren't a member of our network, they would have to join, and we would screen them before we even turn them over to you. So that's another thing. We screen people for free, and we find them for free.
So good. From medfitnetwork.org, where we're talking about to go and look through the directory in your area, is that also where our listeners could take advantage of opportunities for education?
Yes, on our website, you'll see sister sites.
Okay.
Keeping it feminine on our website, sister sites. And you'll see MedFit Classroom on there. MedFit Classroom, we offer weekly webinars, 48 free webinars every year. They're Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. And honestly, I think they're topics a lot of people want to listen to. So you'll see on our sister website, MedFit Classroom. And by the way, all of our education on there, anybody could take. If my mom wanted to take the arthritis fitness specialist to learn about arthritis, that anybody could take our courses. Now, in order to get a specialist certificate and serve on the MedFit Network, you have to show you have a college degree, you have a nationally recognized certification, and you have professional liability insurance to get the certificate at the end and be part of the MedFit Network. But no, our education, anybody could take it. And we've had a lot of nurses, which is interesting, take our courses. And I think just for their own personal interest, their patient population. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So we've got a captive audience. I feel like we've given everybody their homework, right? So within arm's reach, all of us know someone suffering from something. So this is, I think we're talking to a great group of women, as I said, kind of her army, to go and deliver this to others and share the information, if not for yourself. But women 45 to 70, that's you. If you're younger or older, you can still be here. But Lisa, if you could say anything to them about the importance of their health, what we've learned from the pandemic, what would it be?
Wow. I hope we've all learned the value of our health. I watched my dad battle cancer 4 times, and he always had a positive attitude. And he would always say, without your health, you don't have anything. And boy, did he know that to be true and firsthand. I think we all want quality of life as we age. I don't think us ladies want to end up in nursing homes or be a burden to our kids, or, if we're single, who's going to take care of us. So the best thing you could do is take care of you. You're number one. And whatever you can do to have a good quality of life and be able to, take care of yourself. I just think that's just so important these days for women, is to be able to take care of yourself through all stages of your life for as long as you can.
Well said. Well said. And thank you again for all the work you've done contributing to the fitness industry and for every listener here. And thanks for being here.
Thank you, Deborah.
And listeners, now it's your turn. If there's a question, and there may be, first of all, we're going to send you to medfitnetwork.org. And I've got all the links in the show notes where you can come and find it. But I want you to ask a question or make a comment because I'd love to hear from you. It really matters. I read every single note, but when I know that I struck a chord and something really resonates with you, let me know. And you'll find the show notes at flipping50.com/health benefits. And what are you waiting for? Let's start flipping 50 today.